A 7-year-old boy walks through the happiest place on earth, his face hidden beneath a cap, his back to the cameras. In one hand, he holds his mother's, in the other, the invisible weight of a 24 million-pound legacy and a tragedy that shook the globe. The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Yeah, so today's deep dive is really anchored to this headline that's basically been dominating pop culture for days now. I mean, you've probably seen it. It says, Bear is growing up without his dad, Cheryl Cole's heartbreaking first photo. And, we're looking at a pretty massive stack of source material to figure out what's actually going on here.
Right, because there's a lot going on beneath the surface.
Exactly. We've got social media archives, some really intense UK court documents breaking down these strict intestacy laws, plus in-depth reporting from The Independent, The Mirror, and Us Weekly.
And for you listening, our mission today isn't just to, read those headlines back to you. We are going to deconstruct the whole legal, psychological, and financial machine that's operating behind the scenes of one of the music industry's most high-profile tragedies. I mean, we're looking at a desperate escape to a theme park after just a year of absolute nightmares.
Yeah, and the visual of that escape is just striking. So recently, Cheryl Tweedy, who, we all know from Girls Aloud and The X Factor, she took her son Bear to Walt Disney World in Florida. And she actually posted about it on Instagram.
Which is incredibly rare for her, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, her caption talked about escaping into her inner child and finding magic in the corners of the world. But it's the actual footage she shared that really warrants some analysis here.
Yeah, because in the video, you see Bear walking hand in hand with his mom through this heavily populated, really busy resort, but he is entirely shielded.
Right.
Like he's wearing a Mickey Mouse backpack, a heavy hoodie, and this cap that's pulled down so far, it completely conceals his face. His back is to the camera the entire time.
Yeah.
So she's sharing this moment with her millions of followers, but she's simultaneously enacting a total blackout of his identity.
And the viral reaction to that imagery was just instantaneous. I mean, fans were stunned, honestly, simply by the passage of time.
Yeah, the comments were wild.
Exactly. The comment sections were just flooded with people saying, little Bear is not little anymore. People were pointing out his height, the fact that he turns 10 next year. I think it was a shock to the system for a fan base that still visualizes him as the toddler Liam Payne used to talk about in interviews.
Right, definitely.
But to really understand the severity of that pull-down cap, we have to look at the immediate, terrifying context of this child's daily reality.
Because it hasn't just been a tough year of grieving, the whole psychological environment around him has been fundamentally altered. First, obviously, there's the devastating loss of his father.
Right, in October 2024.
Yeah, Liam died at the age of 31 after that fatal fall from a third-floor balcony at the Casa Sur Hotel in Buenos Aires. And the UK inquest ruled the cause of death as polytrauma. So in plain English, his body suffered these catastrophic, simultaneous injuries that basically made survival physically impossible from the moment of impact.
It's so awful. And the media circus that erupted around that event was just deafening. I mean, Cheryl released a statement at the time practically begging the public and the press to give Liam some baseline dignity.
Yeah, she was terrified about Bear's future internet access.
Exactly. Her explicitly stated fear was that one day Bear would get online and stumble upon what she called abhorrent reports. She is hyper-aware that the digital footprint of his father's death is permanent.
But that digital permanence is really only one layer of the threat she's dealing with. The other layer is terrifyingly physical. We have to factor in the context of her stalker, Daniel Bannister.
Right, that whole situation was intense.
It was. I mean, this isn't just a nuisance. A stalker fundamentally shifts a family's baseline reality. Bannister waged this relentless campaign that did ultimately result in a 1-year prison sentence and a lifetime restraining order.
Right.
But, a court order doesn't magically reset your nervous system.
It really doesn't. And she gave a statement in court outlining how detrimental this was on her daily functioning. I mean, she had to rely on a heavy rotation of private security, family, and friends just to move through the world.
Just to go outside.
Exactly. And most crucially, she stated that this campaign terrified her young child. I mean, imagine you're trying to raise a grieving boy, and you can't even guarantee his physical safety in your own neighborhood without a security detail.
It's horrifying. So when you look at that Disney photo, she isn't just shielding him from the paparazzi. She's basically constructing a psychological quarantine.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Like when a child experiences ambient terror, both the sudden, violent death of a parent and the looming physical threat of a stalker anonymity becomes a crucial survival tool.
Like, completely.
But it's like she's trying to build an invisible fortress around him in the middle of a crowded city. But can you really build a wall high enough to keep out the realities of global fame when your child is the sole heir to a pop idol?
That's the huge question here because that psychological quarantine inevitably collides with this cold, unforgiving financial reality. The protective bubble she's building is on a direct collision course with a massive inheritance and a staggering legal maze.
And what happens when those two forces meet is honestly the shocking twist nobody saw coming. Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about exactly what Cheryl is attempting to do with this fortune. So if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
So getting into the financial side, the headline here is just difficult to wrap your head around. It's 24.3 million pounds, no will, and a mother's controversial decision.
Think about that number, 24.3 million pounds.
Yeah.
And no will.
Yeah, it's wild.
It seems impossible that someone with that level of immense wealth navigating a high-risk global industry wouldn't have basic estate planning in place. But the court documents and insights from Louis Needus Law give us the precise anatomy of this fortune.
Right, so Liam's gross estate was valued at just over 28.5 million pounds.
Okay.
And after debts and expenses were settled, the net value crystallized at 24.2 million. Now, because he died intestate, meaning completely without a will, and because he wasn't legally married, the strict rules of intestacy in England and Wales just automatically take over.
And those rules operate like a rigid automated algorithm, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. The state essentially runs a program that cannot measure human emotion, intent, or, unspoken promises. It only recognizes legal marriage and direct bloodlines. Because of this, the entirety of that 24.3 million goes directly to his only child, Bear.
Every single penny. Which also means that Liam's girlfriend at the time of his death, Kate Cassidy, who, reports indicated he had planned to marry, is completely erased from the financial equation.
Yep, she gets nothing.
The law doesn't care about their relationship. The algorithm is just entirely clinical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And since Bear is a minor, the state obviously doesn't just hand over access to these funds. The money is automatically funneled into a bereaved minor's trust.
Okay, so how does that work exactly?
So this specific type of trust is designed to hold the inheritance until the child turns 18. It allows the appointed administrators to apply the income generated by the trust toward the child's education and general maintenance. And crucially, it avoids extra punitive inheritance tax charges when the child officially comes of age.
Right, but because Liam didn't write a will, he never named an executor to actually manage this massive trust.
Right, so the court had to intervene to fill that vacuum.
And they appointed Cheryl as a co-administrator, working alongside a very prominent music industry lawyer named Richard Mark Bray. But the documents show Cheryl was appointed under a limited grant, which is known legally as ad collegenda bona.
Yes, and that term is the absolute linchpin of her current legal power. Ad collegenda bona basically translates to for collecting the goods.
For collecting the goods, right.
Right. It acts as a legal tourniquet. It gives her and Bray the immediate authority to gather, freeze, and protect Liam's assets so they don't degrade or disappear while the wider estate is sorted out.
So it's not like she just has a blank check.
Not at all. It is not a golden ticket. It does not give her free rein to spend or distribute the capital as she sees fit. It is strictly a protective measure.
And here's where the story pivots. A standard bereaved minors trust is legally programmed to hand the keys to the capital over to the beneficiary on their 18th birthday. But Cheryl is reportedly pushing back against that mechanism.
She is.
She's actively trying to stop Bear from accessing the bulk of the money until he is at least 25 and potentially drip-feeding it to him well into his 30s.
Yeah, the reports say she's engaging with the trustees to lock down the wealth through complex investments so it cannot be easily liquidated when he turns 18.
Okay, I have to stop here because what's her reasoning for that?
Well, according to sources close to the family, her reasoning is intensely protective. She wants him to reach an age where his brain's frontal lobe is fully developed, so he can make genuinely informed risk assessments regarding wealth.
That makes sense.
She also wants him to maintain the ambition and drive to build his own life without treating his father's tragedy as a massive financial safety net. And she is hyper aware of the threat of proximity.
You mean people using him?
Exactly. People who will attempt to infiltrate his life purely because they know his bank account holds 24 million pounds.
Now, I have to challenge the strategy. I mean, imagine you are a bear at 18 years old. You know the money is there. The entire world knows the money is there. Is locking away a multi-million-pound inheritance until he's 30 like giving a teenager a Ferrari but hiding the keys for a decade?
It's a really tough position.
Does it actually protect them, or does it just build pressure and resentment?
It is a profound psychological dilemma. I mean, on one hand, sudden wealth syndrome is a well-documented psychological phenomenon. Taking an 18-year-old and injecting 24 million pounds of unearned capital into their life statistically leads to isolation, paranoia, and catastrophic financial decisions.
Right. It's too much too soon.
Exactly. You are handing them a tool they do not have the operational manual to use. But on the other hand, legally barricading a child from their own legacy sends a very clear, permanent message. It basically says, I do not trust you.
And it is heavily tied to his father's legacy, which makes the human element of this so heartbreaking. I mean, there was this 2024 Us Weekly article that highlighted an anecdote that strips away all the legal jargon.
Oh, the billboard story.
Yes. When Bear was 6 years old, he was walking through London's Leicester Square. He looked up at a massive billboard promoting Liam's single teardrops, and he turned to his dad and said, I want to be on a billboard one day, Daddy.
That moment just completely encapsulates the allure and the danger of the industry they are tethered to.
It really does. And Liam was incredibly vocal about his dynamic with Cheryl. Like, on Logan Paul's podcast, he explicitly called her the best mom in the world.
He really praised her.
He did. He said he had the full autonomy to live his life and travel because he knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that Bear was taken care of. He noted that Bear was all she cared about.
Yeah.
So you have a father who clearly adored his son, who wanted to share the magic of his success, but who failed to put the legal architecture in place to manage it.
And that is the ultimate tragedy of intestacy.
Mhm.
I mean, if Liam had taken an hour to draft a will, he could have designed this architecture himself.
Yeah.
He could have created a trust that released 10% of the funds at 21, 25% at 25, and the remainder at 30. He could have acted as the financial disciplinarian from beyond the grave.
But he didn't.
No, he didn't. And instead, that heavy, controversial burden falls squarely on Cheryl's shoulders. She has to play the bad cop, restricting the legacy, all while grieving and parenting a child whose reality has been totally shattered.
It is an impossible set of variables to manage. And that's not even the wildest part. Because just as she's fighting in the background to lock down Bear's financial future, Cheryl is making a massive, unexpected move of her own.
She really is.
We are going to dive into this bittersweet comeback. Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss how this comeback unfolds.
So after 5 years entirely out of the television spotlight, the reports from Chronicle Live indicate Cheryl is in advanced talks for a major return to the screen.
A bittersweet return to the screen. Because her last major television role was on the BBC's The Greatest Dancer half a decade ago.
Right.
And now she is slated to step in as a guest mentor on ITV's The Voice during their battle rounds. And she isn't doing it alone.
No, she's teaming up with Will.i.am.
Exactly. They have a 16-year friendship, and by all accounts, he has been an absolute rock for her. He's really provided a secure emotional anchor since Liam passed.
And from a career architecture standpoint, it is a highly calculated re-entry. I mean, she isn't launching a solo hosting gig where she bears the full weight of the show's success or the media's scrutiny. She is stepping into an established format alongside a trusted ally.
Right, it's safer.
It is.
Yeah.
But the cinematic parallel of this specific career move is almost haunting when you zoom out.
Yeah, think about the timeline here. Reality television isn't just a genre for Cheryl and Liam. It is the accelerator that defined their entire existence.
Yes.
Cheryl's massive solo breakthrough occurred when Simon Cowell placed her on the X Factor judging panel at age 24.
Exactly.
And that very same show is where she first met a 14-year-old Liam Payne in 2008 when he auditioned.
Right, exactly. The reality talent competition is the machine that manufactured their fame, brought them together, and ultimately set the trajectory for the tragedy that followed.
It's all connected.
It is. And now she is returning to that exact format right as Netflix is preparing to air a new series called Building the Band. That show features Liam in one of his final professional roles, also acting as a guest judge.
Wow.
The circularity is just profound.
This is the part that demands scrutiny, though. She literally begged the public to give Liam dignity so Bear wouldn't read of horrent media reports.
Yeah, she did.
She has spent the last year fighting stalkers in court, hiding her son's face behind Mickey Mouse backpacks, and employing legal tourniquets to lock away a £24 million inheritance so her son isn't corrupted by the toxic byproduct of fame.
Right.
So why step back into the reality TV machine? The exact same lion's den that chewed up and defined both her and Liam. Is it about taking back control of her narrative? I mean, why go back to the source of the fire?
Well, I think it comes down to agency. You know, when your recent life has been entirely dictated by external, uncontrollable forces, the tragic fall in Buenos Aires, the terrifying letters from a stalker, the clinical algorithms of the UK probate court reclaiming your original career is one of the only ways to exert absolute control over your narrative.
That's a really fair point.
Plus, there is an intense psychological message she is sending to Bear here.
Oh, like by working, she is demonstrating financial independence.
Precisely. She wants Bear to have ambition independent of the £24 million sitting in a bereaved minor's trust.
Right.
And the most effective way to instill that drive isn't just to hide his trust fund. It is to actively model what it looks like to earn your own space in the world. She's showing him that you do not have to be defined by the wealth or the tragedy attached to your name. You can build your own fortress.
It recontextualizes the TV comeback completely. It isn't a retreat into the lion's den. It's a strategic demonstration of survival. It makes the contradictory moves, hiding the child while stepping into the spotlight, make total sense.
It does. But, it leaves us with one critical variable that neither the courts, nor the trusts, nor Cheryl herself can control. We have analyzed the ad call agenda bona, the stalker's quarantine, and the reality TV accelerator. But eventually, the clock runs out on all of these protective measures.
You mean Bear himself?
Exactly. When Bear turns 18 or 25, depending on how this legal battle shakes out, he will be handed the keys. He will have to reconcile the crushing, fatal weight of the fame that took his father with the restrictive, heavily guarded fortress built by his mother.
Yeah.
The ultimate question isn't just what year the trust releases the £24 million. The question is whether, after absorbing the totality of this legacy, he will still want to be the boy looking up at the billboard, or if he'll choose to walk away from the spotlight entirely, keeping his back to the cameras forever.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.